I'm just going to talk to him in Abyssal about the weather.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Okay. 18.
You notice the male tiefling kind of stop and kind of just half look back and then immediately go back to his work.
Okay.
And the orc glares at you and he looks angry. And he says, "No demon speak. What can you know?"
I insult his heritage in Draconic. but in a pleasant tone, you know? Not like I'm actually insulting him. Like I don't know what he's talking about. I'm just making polite conversation.
From the other side of the room, you hear the gnome go like and start. And the orc turns, looks at him and glares, then turns back to you. And he kind of raises his hand up as if to slap you. The elf says, "Best tell him it's easier." The male tiefling basically says like shh to her. And the orc kind of gives you one last glance, one look, and he kind of pauses for a second to see if you're going to comply. Kicks the stool out from under you, so that you're like hanging from the table and like kind of weirdly splayed. And then he leaves the room and slams the door. And the room is mostly in darkness, except for a glowing crystal above each of the workspaces. And after a moment, the tiefling says, "You should not have done that."
If Canto was there, he'd totally disagree.
I don't know. It was pretty funny at the moment. Plus, I'm not doing any work, so who's complaining?
When you're uncomfortable in the next hour, we'll see how you feel about that. And he goes back to work. And the gnome, or the elf pipes up. "She's probably new and afraid. No reason for you to be a complete ass, Wander." And the gnome says, "Don't mind our friend. He's been here longer than the rest of us. He's seen things. I'm Pips and Papalopalops." No.
Pip's a pretty good name.
I was going to say his name is going to be Pip. "I'm Pip, the resident enchanter of this place. It's not great, but there's job security. That over there is, that is Gressine. She and our friend Wander are also enchanters, but they didn't quite have the same knack for metalworking that I had. Used to live with dwarves after all. So what about you? What magic skills did they hire you for?"
I'm more in deconstruction of things.
Demolition work.
But yeah, I'm in demolition and I can't wait to get started.
Well, I'll tell you this much. You are not the first person to sit at that desk. And if you don't find something that they like, you won't be the last person to sit at that desk either.
What, my charming personality isn't good enough?
I don't think it's quite the way to an orc's heart.
I can't believe you guys haven't even tried to get out of here yet.
I don't know which is more surprising, that you would say that, or that you honestly think we haven't tried. The tiefling snaps back at you.
I can't believe you have time to even think about escaping or anything with all those broody thoughts of yours.
He turns towards you a little bit more and says, "Brooding thoughts, eh?" And you get a look at him, and almost down the center of his face, he's just burned and scarred. Like half his face is basically just fucking sandpaper. No eye, barely lips, or even the nose is like fractured away with like the bone beyond it. Like, I mean, it's bad. One of his horn is broken away.
I thought that was clever.
What did you say? Something excuse?
I said, why the long face?
Oh, why the long face? Okay. Wouldn't it be a short face? Half face? I don't know.
That also works.
I used to be a district attorney. No.
I would ask what happened to your face, but I think I can figure it out.
I sneezed really hard one day. No.
Wild magic.
They do not react well to insubordination.
Guess you should have tried harder.
The elf kind of like half-heartedly chuckles, and she says, "You say that, but he used to be a lot like you, trashing them in abyssal, mocking their relationships with their mothers. But eventually,
Taking notes, I see.
Eventually, we all fell in line. It beats
We'll
the
see. There's more
alternative.
stuff.
You should see what they do to the bards.
Oh god. Canto has spider senses go off.
It's less the spider sense and more the ever so gentle, light upward brushing against the silken cloth of your back by the...
I'm wearing armor, okay?
Not anymore, you're not.
Did they take my armor off?
I don't know. I don't really care. I'm just imagining an orc walking up behind you.
Oh god.
We're gonna cut away from Kallista, and we're gonna cut back to Neverwinter. It's a gray day. Just perfect sheet of cloud in the sky. No lumps whatsoever. It's sunshine. It is bleak. It is dismal. But Gundren's having a pretty good day. And he walks over to his desk and he unrolls the map. And in this particular cinematic, or cutaway for the fourth wall breaking audience, Gundren's eyebrows just go, what? And his eyes get really big and he doesn't make a sound and his mouth just gapes open. And then we cut back. You've been working in the mine for several hours, when finally your group is led away and taken to a very uncomfortable room of bunks.
You still talking about Kallista? Or all of us?
All you two.
Okay.
And you are chained on what is basically a wooden mat, or a wooden thing, with like some straw sprinkled on it. It's like 70% straw coverage. Halflings are double stacked, obviously. And there are, as far as you can tell, at least 2 or 3 layers above you, like on little stilts up, right? The room smells terrible. It smells of unwashed masses.
Unwashed mass.
There are buckets in the corners. And as you were entering, someone walked past you with a bucket full of just awful. And I mean OFFAL or British food, whichever one you want. And you know what the bucket is used for, and you see this person take the bucket and slosh its contents into the magma river. And for a moment there's an awful mist of smell, and then you're led into the bunk room. And you are basically chained to your 6 foot by 6 foot slab with your team. And you are left kind of just staring up at the wood above you. Canto, you are on the 2nd level. Thorlan, you are on the 1st level. And I'm telling you the same thing, but not necessarily saying, hey, you're not right there, per se. You did not see each other when you entered. You're not right above each other or anything like that. There's some... You can make out some talking. Some of it's in more frantic, scared whispers. Others of it are in more like, oh, we've been here forever. Let's just talk about how we're going to die.
Are we still chained?
You are still... You're chained to, like, your slab. You're basically chained in the way that, like, if you were just to flop onto your bed at the end of the day,
Okay.
looking up with, like, your arms kind of, like, slightly above you.
All right.
So each of your shackle, there's basically a chain across the bottom of your slab and a chain across the top, and you are each shackled to that.
Okay.
And the torches of the orcs disappear, and you are left in complete darkness.
All right. Well, it's finally time to get a full rest in.
We're finally getting that full rest.
I am not doing anything. I am out of everything.
They'll never see it coming.
I get a full rest to surprise them.
How many hours do you need for a full rest?
Is it 8? I think.
Is it the same for you, or do you get reverie?
I don't think it's anything.
It's a super important question for you. You might want to check it.
It doesn't say anything that I don't get.
You don't have elf meditation?
No.
It's not bonuses? Okay. Then, yeah, for me, it's like 6 to 8 is pretty okay. 6 actual sleep, 8 non-sleep, whatever. Anywho, Kallista, you have been taken to a small cell with iron bars and whatnot. There is a
Sweet.
She's got the sweet.
there is a metal plate, basically, hanging from the wall. And there is a grate in the floor over in the corner.
It's your pisser.
That?
That's it. That's all you got. And there are torchlights in the hallway out from you. So basically what you walked down, you were let out of your room where you were supposed to work. You were incredibly sore. You can barely walk because you were hanging there for like 2 hours. You have deep cuts that are raw from the wearing of the chains on you. And you're led roughly by, thankfully, another orc, not the one that was pissed at you. And you are brought down a hallway, basically a corridor that's a little bit wider. It's probably about 12 feet wide, and it has actually like stone tile floor and like carved columns. It looks like maybe some sort of almost fortressy kind of carved out, and then it has these cells in it. You saw probably about 3 cells per side, and there are torchlights in that center area, and the corridor continued beyond, but this is this spot, right? And you were thrown into one of the cells. The gnome was thrown into... You were thrown into the first one on the left. The gnome was thrown into the second one on the right, and the tiefling and the elf were marched further along.
Okay.
And you are locked inside your cell.
Right. What kind of lock is it?
A substantial, like, it's kind of mostly a bar, like jail bars, but it's also got heavy, thick plates as part of it, so it's not full just bars. And it looks like it's a very heavy built-in lock in the wall, or in the door.
Okay. Do I know what that metal thing on the wall is?
Metal thing on the wall. Oh, your bed.
Oh, is that my bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like old prison movies where there's just like the fold out like sheet of shitty metal, like the cot that just kind of folds out of the wall. It's basically like that.
All right. Well, I'm going to try and get a full rest in as well.
You get up on the bed, get on your side, kind of tuck your knees up to you, and close your eyes and try to get a little bit comfortable, and kind of just like let out a long like the long today. And you hear the goddamn gnome from down the hall. No. So the gnome goes, "Hey, how do you like your new digs?"
Callista's gonna kill him tomorrow.
The orcs are gonna come back and they're gonna be like, "Where is Pip? Where's the one called Pip? Why is there only char marks in his?"
You break out of my cell just to kill him and then go back to bed.
The orcs see you right at the end going back, and you just slam the door.
Yeah. Would you believe I've slept in worse places than this?
Well, you have that look of adventure about you.
So, could do without the noisy neighbors, though.
I know these orcs are the worst. Up all night with their rowdy parties.
Hey.
A note of advice. Be careful with the grate.
Why?
Aim properly. Some of the newbies have trouble.
This conversation. Unbelievable.
And just so you know, it does get better. At the very least, you can kind of work on things that you want to work on if you try. You just have to remember that it's probably going to be used to murder people. I mean, that's a downside.
I don't know. I could see a few uses for it. What about now? How about we have this discussion tomorrow?
Fine.
Thank you.
Sleep well. Don't reach outside of the bars of your door. Just, fair warning.
Why?
Don't worry.
Why?
Or about it.
Why?
Do you know anything about Ferris Monstrous?
Nope.
Oh.
I don't know what are they called that? That'd be funny. There are creatures that they allow to roam loose to keep us at bay. Creatures that would very much feast on the blood of a mage and be very, very happy.
Well, that's comforting while I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, just for the record, the Tor is not there to keep you in.
Fair enough.
I really just want there to be like prowling owl bears. You wake up and there's just an owl bear like fucking staring at you. Then it hears a noise behind it. Its head just turns 180.
But yeah, I'll get some sleep. Get my health back up and such.
Good night, Tiefling.
Thank you.
Good night, Elf. Good night, half Tiefling. Good night, orcs. No, I'm kidding. He does not do that. But no, he's not doing that. All right, back to so everyone sleeps. No one wants to do anything else.
No, I do have
I
some.
think we significantly got our asses handed to us.
You lost your chances, and this is where the adventure ends.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I always wanted to make that halfling paladin. Let's go for it.
You have no concept of time. However, you are roused uncomfortably, and you feel tired. You can have
That's nothing new.
everything back except for 1 hit die. So you'll begin just 1 down, so at 4 instead of 5.
Mm-hmm.
If you can cast spells, you will lose. Do you guys have 2 level 3?
Yes.
You lose 1 level 3 spell, 1 level 2 spell, and 1 level 1 spell.
Bollocks. So we have just missing 1 spell of each.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Thorlan, you don't have second wind, let's say. Oh, no, how many superiority dice do you have?
5.
Then you have 4, let's say. So, you're roused, your chains are re-upped into your chain gain, and you are led along. Thorlan, as you're going, you notice a particular pattern. You are second in line, with an old man in front of you, an old woman behind you, an old man behind her, and then the halfling bringing up the back. In front of this chain gang is 1 orc, and behind this chain gang is 1 orc. And you pass a group working, a couple groups working, with an orc overseer, and you round a corner, and you realize you can no longer see the orc behind, the other group behind you, and you don't see a group ahead of you. It's just your group, the orc leading your group, and the orc following your group, and Lava River on the right.
Okay. And they're just leading us down into the middle of
You
nowhere?
presume you're being led back to the forge, and you're pretty sure of that because you have pretty good senses of.
And does it sound like the forge is still a ways away?
It sounds like the forge is kind of being brought to life in the morning or whatever, right? Or maybe it's been quasi shut down for a little while. And it sounds like, if you remember correctly, you think you have a little ways, but you don't know when the next work group is going to be or where the next work is.
Okay. And
So
do
it's
I have
either a bait trap or,
right? Do I have any idea where they took our gear?
You do not. But if you had to guess, you would presume there's some sort of loot room. And if you remember, that giant was eyeing the Orogs as if he was making note of what they had. So you presume that there's probably some sort of stash where things are weighed and measured and distributed.
And I have nothing, right? They took weapons.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are not wearing your armor or your weapons.
Do I have my boots?
Let's say yes.
Bribe your way out.
Excellent. Well, are my potions still in my boots?
No. For actual mechanical reasons, for mechanical purposes, you have neither money nor items in your boots.
Damn it.
They took that part of the boot away.
All right. I'm just gonna keep following them until we get to the forge.
Okay. You get to the forge, and they kind of shovel you up against some stuff, and you kind of realize, oh, hey, here's some tools. Here's
I skip over to the tools.
clapping your hands. The other dwarves kind of eye you as you enter, and you kind of realize from looking around and seeing what the other dwarves are doing that basically your job is to start shaping some metal into blades and such. And your day basically begins with that. Your helpers firing the furnace, holding things for you, as you begin to shape blades. And you realize that you and most of the dwarves are working on like orc or humanoid sized stuff, but there are two dwarves at kind of a central forge, and they seem to be working on larger things.
Giant weapons.
And compared to you, yeah, because you're tiny.
Do they leave us all chained up, or do we get to move freely so we can work more effectively in the forge?
No, you are chained to your group in that particular order for very particular reasons. So, like, if you have to get to... And you are chained to your workstation. Like, there's giant fucking rings, like, bolted into the ground. So you can't move more than, like, basically the width of the anvil and, like, a little workstation. So if you need something past that, you have to
I'm a
guy in
dwarf
front
in
of
a
you.
forge. The chains aren't bothering me so much. I'll get those figured out eventually.
Well, of course.
I'm just sizing.
There's a reason for everything, damn it. The there's only so much foresight that these guys could have. Then you have your little whip end of the chain gang, and you can send them off to do like things, 12 feet away from you or whatever.
Can I ask in Dwarvish why it smells like orc in here?
One of the other doors
Loud enough for everybody to hear me. I just want to see who responds to Dwarvish.
Some of the other, all of the dwarves clearly know what you said. The one dwarf kind of nearest you, kind of goes like a. The other dwarf, like a couple dwarves, kind of look at you and then just go back to what they're doing, and a few just ignore you.
But nobody else.
Pretty much, no.
Okay, good.
Maybe one of the halflings, or maybe there's a gnome in here, but none of the humans, and certainly none of the orcs.
Dirty orcs.
Cut to Canto. Canto.
I'm being led along just like Thorlan was.
One of the orcs.
They're just constantly hitting me.
I'm being bathed and perfumed for some reason. It's really odd.
Yeah, they are shaving you. And you're mostly hairless, but they are shaving other parts of you.
It's a black suit ready for me.
I'm not certain they know that you're a male. Yeah, you can't tell. No. The you are led
Double.
along with yeah, but compared to the dwarf you were brought in with, you're basically a walking vagina.
So, first thing Canto would do is, first off, are these the same orcs that were with me when I was working the first day?
You would have to crit to know and be able to tell the difference.
Okay, I'll try it. Just to check. Oh, so close. I got an 18. Plus 10 is a 28, so that helps.
Grayish green tusks, black hair, greasy, angry looking.
A 28? Damn. These guys are hard to tell the difference. Okay. So, in that case, with a 28, can I...
Oh, wait, how did you get to a 28?
I have a plus 10 on my No, I don't. That's my persuasion. I'm sorry.
There's no way that's true.
And so 24, I guess. Because my perception is a plus 20, 18 plus 6 is 24, yeah.
Okay.
Can I mark anything?
You kind of think that, yeah, probably one of the same guys.
Okay. So can I make a marking, like a mental note of like, okay, this guy has a broken tusk, or anything specifically distinguishing?
Yeah.
I don't know how long we're going to be in here, so I want to know if I can.
This guy has a slightly discolored left eye.
Discolored left.
As if perhaps he took some damage there.
Okay. Discolored. Okay.
Like, his one eye is kind of, the normal bloodshot. Yeah. And the other one's like...
Okay.
I had a little too much Red Bull bloodshot.
Alright. I just want to know, and the second thing he would immediately look for is, can he see anyone with keys? Do I need to take a separate perception check, or is it 24 alright?
I'll ask for a separate one because this is a vastly different thing.
Okay. 20 total.
You do not see anyone with keys.
Okay.
But you do know that there is an orc somewhere that can, at least in the group, and whether or not you notice who he is each time, who can detach your chain set from the bed chain set and then link you up to the other people.
Okay, I need to pay attention to whoever that was. Oh well. Okay. Well, I will continue to listen to your description, and I'll let you know if I want to stop on anything.
Oh no, I'm done with you. I'm gonna go to no. You are led along with the same group you were tied to yesterday.
Who was in my group? Again,
I don't know.
it's people.
It's probably not important.
Yeah, probably not. Kallista gets all these cool people.
That's what you get for not playing a mage.
I am a mage. They just don't know that.
They were mostly focused on the tiefling thing.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm in a way better position than she is. But
I mean, you're about to be in a position.
God, you're so mean to the friggin' bard. Just leave him alone.
It has nothing to do with being a bard. I mean, a little bit, but no. They're gonna make you sing. Sure got a pretty mouth and throat and hair. You are led down a new tunnel. Not the tunnel you were in yesterday. And you are led deep past other people into parts unknown where the rock is darker. And the air is stiller. There's almost a crispness of cold here.
It's alright. I have really slender wrists. I should be able to slip these chains pretty easy.
And you are led to a cavern. And there are giant braziers of burning coal around the room. It's a mostly circular, rough-cut room. Stalagmites and stalactites hanging. And you notice... Well, take a perception check, please.
12.
You notice the orc leading stops for a moment and kind of looks around and then enters the room.
Oh, great.
The first thing you notice about this room is it is not all stone. There are large banks of crystalline structure in here.
Ooh.
And it kind of glints weirdly in the light. You can't tell whether it's gem or if it's just crystal. But you are handed a little hammer and like a chisel, and other people in your group are handed pickaxes, and someone's handed a bucket, and you are basically led over to a rock mass with some crystal jutting out around it, and the orcs kind of bark at you, work, and they kind of walk away, and there's just, overseers.
How many? Just curious.
9.
Okay.
There are 2 at the tunnel entrance. You do not see a tunnel exit. Like they haven't gotten farther than this yet.
Right.
And then there are about 5 kind of wandering around kind of like patrolling around the room slowly, or kind of milling about. And then there's the other 2 are standing kind of near the center of the room, and they seem to kind of be standing mostly still. And give me a perception check.
Sure. 17.
They seem to be looking up every once in a while.
Okay.
Like, they're kind of watching what's happening, and then they'll look up and they'll, like, scan the ceilings.
God, it's going to be those little things that we fought in the cave, Wayback Cave that almost killed us instantly.
You also notice that each of them has a very heavy crossbow. Like a big crossbow with a very heavy bolt on it. And they also are holding, like, they also have, like, grappling hooks on their belts. Which seems odd.
Here's a weird question for you.
Sure.
It says... I don't know if I want to give this away. I'll ask it if I need to. So keep going.
Okay. And you start to work with your tiny rock and chisel.
Yeah, so I feel worthless. Ding, ding, ding.
That was the end of my... and you kind of figure out, and there's some mutterings around, that your job is to clear out the rock that's right on the crystal after the people with the thing kind of clear out the bigger chunks of rock. And it is indicated to you that you really want to be careful to hit the rock and not the crystals. And if you find a gem... And in fact, actually, a nearby group, someone gasps. And you kind of look over and you see that there's the glint of like a ruby has been found in the rock. As the rock has kind of crumbled away from his hammer, and he gasps, and immediately an orc like marches over, shoves him out of the way, and looks at it, and then like calls over to someone, and they bring a no mutant see before, and he's chained. He's actually chained to two orcs, and they come over, and oddly, he seems to be telling them what to do. And they begin to get the ruby out, and it turns out it's like a cantaloupe-sized ruby. And the moment they have that out,
Canto's eyes are now the size of cantaloupes as well.
they immediately put it inside a like satchel, and then they leave the room with it, still attached to the gnome.
Okay.
Unless you want to do anything, we are moving on.
Well, if I don't see anyone with keys, I'm not gonna try a dang thing yet, though. Tempted.
You do see a keyring on the belt of one of the two orcs in the center of the room. One of the guys with the thing. But it's definitely not... Unless there's like one master key.
Right, because he has a key ring.
He has, and it has like one little key on it.
Okay. Well, I'll continue to work while paying attention to what's going on around me. See if anything crops up that'll help later. You may move on.
Kallista.
Yo.
You wake to the sound of metal banging on metal, as if someone is walking down the corridor banging two pots together. And you kind of blearily open your eyes and look out into the hallway from your bed, and you see an orc walk past banging two pots together.
I cast Burning Hands.
Do you?
I'm going to regret this. Well, impulsiveness has never failed me before. Sure, I'm casting Burning Hands, Element.
So you kind of run up to the gate and just like...
Well, it's a 15 feet cone. 15 feet cone. I don't have to run anywhere.
No, but you probably want to get a little bit out from just the center of your...
Roast yourself alive.
Yeah. Plus, you're going to have to actually kind of like lean out a little bit to catch him. Because,
Alright.
He does not notice it, so he's going to roll with disadvantage. Rolls a 2, so roll your 3d6.
Okay.
Plus whatever, or just straight up.
Alright. It's 13.
He screams in pain and surprise,
People are trying to over here.
and he drops to the ground and begins rolling about, trying to put out the fires on his furs.
Hit him again. Quick.
He stopped, dropped, and rolled?
Kind of. Mostly he was knocked down, and then he freaked out.
I'm just going to sit here.
Before
If the fire goes out.
before you remove yourself from the area of the door, give me a a dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw. Okay. 15.
Okay.
Nice.
Now give me a perception check.
Okay. 11.
You notice right as it happens that there is like a crystal that you didn't necessarily see yesterday up in the corner of the door, and it flashes as you cast your spell. And when you do, you jump away just in time, as the entire thing just like lights up with lightning and electricity, right? So the crystal like flashes, and then the whole gate just goes, and I mean it's like that thick white lightning, like oh shit, but you still take damage from it.
Okay.
So you take 5 damage from the lightning.
Okay.
You also need to roll for wild magic, which is think about
please.
and fucking amazing.
Please turn in corporal or something like that. Just fly out of here.
No, that was an 11.
Ah!
It would be so ridiculous.
She turns into a
Where'd she
potted-
go? There's a potted plant in here.
Quick, throw it in the magma. We don't need it anymore.
Now we play the waiting game.
So is the fire going out? Is he still...
He's still alive. He's just very badly burned.
But the fire is out.
Yes.
I cast Burning Hands.
Just for the record, orcs have 15 health. There are now other orcs coming down.
Then I wait a moment.
You hear the barking of orders. And you also hear the gnome yell out, "You really shouldn't do that. It's warded. The second one never works."
Really? In that case, dispel magic on that
On the crystal.
thingy. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
They're gonna beat you to death. We have to get a new tiefling. I like this tiefling. I want a new model.
Okay, so if it's any spell of 3rd level or lower on the target, then it automatically ends. If it's 4 or higher, I have to roll.
I would like you to roll, please.
Okay.
Not necessarily because it is actually level 4 or higher, but just because of the nature of it.
Okay.
What do you have to roll against?
Make an ability check using the spellcasting ability, DC 10 or higher. Yeah. The DC equals 10 plus the spell's level. Alright.
Oh. Okay. For effects and purposes, I have a number. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh. Okay. That's I failed that.
Yeah, if under a 13, then yes. Or a 13 or lower, yes.
You're so dead.
Actually, I think I might be okay.
But I need something from you.
Okay.
I need a wild magic roll.
Nope, that's a 20.
And in these times of harshness, if you would like to, I will offer you back your Tides of Chaos. Oh, wait, did you get it back at a long rest?
I think so, yes.
Oh, then fuck it. I don't care. I was gonna let you take a roll on the actual chart for your Tides of Chaos. All right. You see an orc kind of leading two other orcs and kind of barking out orders towards the 2 HP orc on the ground, whimpering. And this orc is dressed in like hide and furs and some ornamentation of like eyes painted crudely on his armor. He also has like a tattoo of an eye on his forehead.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. They're walking towards your gate.
Okay. I think I'll sit by the back wall.
Okay.
Wait for them to enter.
That way, when they
Fill the room with fire.
when they get to you, you can just pee and it'll go right down the drain.
That's convenient.
It's super convenient. The orc holds his hand out to the gate, and you hear a weirdly echoing click that doesn't sound like it actually came from like a mechanical lock, and the gate opens, and he steps in and fills the doorway. The other two orcs do not follow.
Fireball!
One runs over to the hurt orc, and the other orc, you presume, is kind of behind to the side of this guy. This guy fills the doorway and waits a moment, and then takes a step towards you.
Burning hands.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to use it as a higher level, as a level 3.
Oh my gosh, so 5d6?
Yeah, I think I got an extra one there.
1d6 per level, probably.
So that'll be all your, that'll be your only level 3 if you use that.
Actually, no, it's Burning Hands is a level 1 spell.
Yeah.
Oh, but if you cast it as a level 3...
I'm going to cast it as a level 2.
Okay.
One level higher.
What did you cast Dispel Magic as?
That's a level 3.
Oh, okay, then yeah, so your level 3's gone already. That's what I thought. Okay.
Sad.
So yeah, this will be... How many level 4 slots level 2 slots do you have? 4?
3. 2 left.
Okay, so you have 2 left, yeah. Alright, go ahead.
Okay, I need it's a 15 feet cone. I need a deck save from everyone.
Yep. The orcs were smart enough to not be in the cone, so you're only going to catch the...
Now, this is a pretty tight area, right? So can the fire just go into the hallway and then spread out?
It can, so it would go along its cone into the hallway, but the hallway is actually fairly open. The cell is very closed, so you're definitely going to light the fuck out of the cell. But the other 2 orcs that he was with did not follow him. And your cell is like 10 feet deep.
Should have used another spell then.
These orcs
Would you,
are smart.
since I didn't necessarily tell you the dimensions, would you like to change what you're doing?
I think I might rather than cast Shatter in the hole.
Like shatter behind him?
Yeah.
Alright. That one's a what?
Constitution saving throw.
That's what I thought.
10 foot radius.
Okay. It goes off, and the orc in front of you just like smirks, and amazingly enough, that's mostly because of what I rolled. The other orcs, it's a 10-foot radius, you said?
Yes.
The injured orc fails. Well, can you roll damage for me real fast?
Okay.
3d10? 3d8, something like that?
3d8. 7, 8, 9, 14.
Half on a success?
Yes.
All 3 orcs in the hallway fail. The one dies as his eardrums just like explode. The walls rattle around, and a chandelier in the hallway crashes to the ground. But the orc standing before you is unfazed.
Bummer.
Yeah, he rolled a 20 on that one. He crit his save. And just saved. Wild magic?
I just rolled.
I figured. Okay. He is going to force a wisdom check on you. A wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 3.
You are paralyzed.
Okay.
From a spell he doesn't actually have, according to the Master Manual, but has, according to the Arc Manual. You are you suspect that you are held by a hold person spell. Bye, Maggie. And he comes over to you, and he just punches you in the gut as you're held. I know that there's actually an order to this, but I'm just cinematicing it for a second. He hits you. He deals 4 damage.
Okay.
And then while you're kind of gasping in breath, he grabs your arms and shackles you.
Okay.
And he rips off like one of your sleeves and he shoves it in your mouth.
Awesome. Which, funnily enough, isn't necessary. Okay.
Silly mages. You always think you have a way out.
I just chuckle behind my gag.
He drags you out out of the door. The old person going away enough for you to move along with him as you're forcefully dragged out, and you see the charred and kind of battered body of the orc on the ground, and the other 2 who are like holding their ears, and like there's blood between their hands or between their fingers, and they're kind of like on their knees, just kind of rocking back and forth. And you look down the hallway, and there's a couple other orcs kind of emerging, and they're leading the shackled tiefling and the shackled well, actually not shackled, the tiefling and the elf. And they look to the side, and the gnome is just like pressed up against the his own door, looking at what's happening. And there's 2 other orcs at the far side of the corridor, the way you had come in. So you were the first door, so they're over there. And they're kind of looking at this like, what the fuck? And you are led back to your workroom, where you are shackled to the table, and you are asked, what can you do?
I'll just start talking in abyssal again to him.
What are you going to say? You're not answering him, right?
No.
Oh.
just how nicely it was. What a great morning this has been so far.
The orc will glare at you, and then he'll walk over to the male tiefling, grab the half of his hair that's like there, yank his head back, and looking at you, will say, "What can she do?" Do you want to say anything?
In Abyssal, no, I just did Abyssal. So in Draconic, I'll say toast orcs.
The gnome will say, she's a scribe. She can write scrolls. The orc will look over at him and kind of like shove the guy's head away and kind of spit at your feet, and he'll walk out of the room.
One down, many more to go. Infernal.
Do you need to sleep again?
Yeah, I kind of do. Tomorrow is another orc.
It's all good and well until they send something to eat your magic. Or
True,
worse, something to eat your brain.
True, but then I'll be useless, won't I?
You're not much use to them now, and they can always find another.
That's true. That's true.
The thing about working here is, at the very least, the longer you cooperate, the longer you have to plan.
Just gonna turn our characters evil, and we're just gonna join them.
The slaves are going to turn you, or the
No, I meant you.
Oh,
We were finally just gonna give up and join them and be like, "Hey, we'll go kill crap for you." Turn evil.
that's not what this is about.
It's too late. It's happening.
And the elf says, in a while they'll bring you a quill and some scrolls. At the very least, you should pretend to use them.
Okay.
The tiefling will, in like a wry voice, will just be like, "And she means for more than doodles."
Oh. That'll be somewhat problematic. There's a reason why my specialty is destruction.
He goes, "Well, it's not exactly like we don't have some thoughts on the subject. After all, I do still have another half a face."
Oh, so you want to give it another go then?
You have not seen... Oh, shit. Give me a second. You have not met Bob yet, the gnome says.
Bob.
Cut back to Canto.
Oh. Tink, 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 tink. Okay, cut to Thorlan.
I thought about that. I would like a roll from you.